Okay, this video will conclude the exam review for Math 3, finishing up the geometry problems. Okay, problem number 52 says a small circular pool is enclosed in a square. Find the shaded area, so that would just be these outside areas. Round the answer to 1 decimal place. So what we need is the area of the square and the area of the circle. So the area formula for a square is side squared, and the area formula for a circle is pi r squared. So once you find these two, we notice that we want to take the area of the square and subtract the area from the circle, and that's going to leave you the shaded area. Okay, so the side is 3.3 meters. So for the area of the square, you're going to get, this is the area of the shaded region here, so that's going to be 3.3 squared. And the area of the circle is pi r squared. Well, what is r? Well, 3.3, remember, is this distance here, which happens to be a diameter. So if I want the radius, I want to take 3.3 and divide it by 2. Well, 3.3 divided by 2 is 1.65. So pi times 1.65 squared. And now just do this math in your calculator. 3.3 squared is about 10.9, and pi times 1.65 squared is about 8.6. Subtract the 2, and the area of the shaded region is about equal to 2.3 meters squared. Remember that area is always units squared, and the units here was meters. So 3.3 squared is about 10.9. 1.65 squared times pi is about 8.6. Subtract the 2, and that's where you get the 2.3. Don't forget your units. All right, 53 says find x. Well, x represents the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle, so we know that we would use the Pythagorean theorem to solve that. So one side of the right triangle is 6 and the other side is 8, and we're looking for the hypotenuse. So 6 squared is 36, 8 squared is 64. Do the addition. Now to get rid of a squared, you take the square root of both sides. So x is 10. Since it's a measurement and they didn't give us a unit of measure, make sure to write units. Okay, number 54 says find the perimeter and the area for the figure below. Remember that perimeter means distance around. So what I want to find here is all of these distances. So we know that this side is equal to the opposite side, so that's 7. What I don't know is, well, what's this amount here? Well, you notice that's a semicircle, or half of a circle. So the perimeter of a circle is also known as the circumference. And their circumference formula is 2 pi r. Well, that's for a whole circle. If I only want half of the circle, I would divide it by 2. So the circumference of a semicircle is pi r. Remember, this is for a semicircle, not a full circle. We only want the half here. So to find the perimeter, I would add up the 7, the 5, and the 7 for this. Notice I would not include this side here because that's not an outside piece. Remember, we just want the distance around. And now I want this piece here, which is from the semicircle. So plus pi times r. Well, what is r? Well, remember, r is the radius, so from here to here. Well, you know the whole thing, the diameter is 5. So since the diameter is 5 meters, the radius is going to be half of that, or 2.5. So do your multiplication here, and you're going to get, when you add and multiply everything out, I get 26.9 meters. Perimeter is not units squared or cubed or anything. It's just straightforward units because it's a distance around something. So we found the perimeter. Now let's find the area. The area of the total figure here is going to be the area of the rectangle, okay, plus the area of the semicircle. All right, so we know that the area formula for a rectangle is length times width. So we know that this is going to be length times width here. And we know that the area of a circle is pi r squared, but for a semicircle we would divide it by 2. So this would be pi r squared divided by 2. Okay, so now let's just plug in what we know. Well, the length is going to be 7 and the width is 5. That's for the area of the rectangle. We know the radius is 2.5. We found that earlier. And when you do the math, the area of the rectangle is 35 and the area of the semicircle is 9.8 roughly. So the area of the total figure there is about 44.8 units. Well, the units are meters and area is always squared. Okay, so this was the area of the rectangle and 9.8 is the area of the semicircle, and add them together to get the total area. Okay, number 55 says find the volume of this rectangular solid. Remember, the volume of the rectangular prism is length times width times height. So we're just going to plug in the values, length, width, and height. And just multiply everything out, and when you do that, you get 174.762. It's said to approximate to 3 decimal places. That is 3 decimal places. The units are centimeters, and volume is always units cubed. So that would be centimeters cubed. Don't leave off your units on the exam, okay? Make sure you put your units. Perimeter is just units, area is units squared, and volume is units cubed. Okay, 56. Find the volume of this cylinder. Well, the volume formula for a cylinder is pi r squared h. Okay, well, we see that r is 4 and h is 19, so we'll just plug it in. And when I do that, I get 955.04 centimeters cubed. Depending on how you use pi, you may be a few digits off if you use the pi button in your calculator and round it at the end, or whether you put 3.14, but you should be close to this value. Okay, so it said approximate to 2 decimal places, and I've done that. Okay, that completes your exam review. Good luck on your exam.